He's a very excellent. Yeah, that's fine.
How's the kiddos?
Oh, nice.
Right, John, decided, John's.
Oh, I just got 2 ERA.
Everybody got his driver's license.
Yeah, Evan is 17 and Emily's 12. So he graduated spring.
Today.
Headed to Asbury, so I'm still there.
Right for the pants.
So is he working? For us, full time. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you regional director?
I'm Anna.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
Did we sound different? I'm glad you're here. Did you get some food already?
Yes, and I got all this slinky like clothes. I'm
I saw those ankles up.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let me make a bit or a lettuce taco.
Yeah,
Lettuce and meat. Yeah, that's for you. Yeah, you're right. That's probably
Speaking to Doug, so he is working for us full time.
How's he liking it?
I'll start hollering if my market.
But at the same time, he understands.
Can't just sit at home.
Right, well, and right now he could literally work anywhere,
Right.
but, we needed an employee and because with COVID, most of ours left.
Right.
So.
Man, that looks good.
Time, so he handles, parts of it, he handles.
Feeding my southern soul there.
Yeah.
So some tacos.
It is.
He's learning the business. At least even if he hates it, he's got that to fall down.
Well, I told him he has to, he doesn't know about this in school.
Sure.
He's
I mean, he's
thinking
only
ag,
19.
I know,
I didn't know that was.
he's thinking ag business,
Yeah.
and I'm fine with that. So he may start in the fall, part time.
Good deal.
Who, the ag business? No.
No.
Andrea, thank you for getting that 2:30 in.
Yeah.
I'm excited for her to meet her. She
she's
just,
trying to make
she
her
just
mind up
recruited
today.
two ERA agents.
Yeah, two
So we're
$20 million
gonna-
producers from ERA.
We're gonna
It's
get her.
just, it's really
Yeah,
interesting.
that, and I thought for sure that, I told you which agency I thought because of her connection.
Yeah.
They didn't, she said she was in the office and there was no one there. And they charged like $199 admin fee. I'm like, is that per month? And she's like, I don't know.
Probably per transaction. Admin fees are typically per transaction.
Yeah, and their cap is 15,500.
It just went up.
Yeah.
It used to be 12,
More
it's
than
now
our
15.
plastic.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
We're gonna get her. Put her in your downline.
Woo, we're gonna make this
I love
work.
growing people down.
Yes.
I told them. I'm like, I just feel like it's so much more fun.
I liked it. I
I
do
do
like
when
money,
you have
but I
your
like to
friends
help
around
other
the
people.
office, it's like,
Yeah.
when you come in, you see smiling faces that you know, like, it just makes it more fun.
And we usually always like each other.
Yeah.
Seems like we all like each other here already.
We're not that.
All right, I think we've got everybody in for now. We've got a few more that are gonna straggle in. But enjoy lunch and just get up and get more as you need it.
Who
Thank
provided
you.
lunch?
I did.
You did?
Well,
Okay.
I mean,
Oh, well,
like,
thank you.
Well, thank you.
our office. did.
Thank you, office.
I did not
That's
like
very
my
kind of
personal
you.
bank account.
No, but thank you, office. That's very kind of you guys.
Yes, yes. Well, selfishly, I told Scott that this Mexican place is right next door to Double Dogs or Boon Dogs or whatever that place is right here. Anyways, this is that place and I've been wanting to try it. So I was like, order that. Hey, Delina, order that.
That's funny.
So anyways, well, guys, thank you for being here. You are in for a real treat today for us to hear from Anna McKissack. She's not actually our regional director because
I would be stealing my husband's job.
she would be. But anyways, she's the
Area
wife.
director.
She is the area director. So anyways, but we're glad she's here today. She's going to speak on the 4C's and your unique ability of something or another, and I'll let you talk about that. I do want you guys to meet Scott. He used to be with us. He had a brief lapse in judgment and went somewhere else, and now he's back. So
Welcome back. Woo!
here,
Yay! Welcome back home.
I was like, we were talking about the top 20% in this meeting today, and I was like, you know what? I want you to see and meet our top 20%, and then this time next year, you will be in the top 20%. That's the goal that I set for him. So I'm super excited about that. So I'll let you get started.
Okay, we got a lot to cover today.
Yeah.
I know Tara is printing off some stuff and I'm bringing it back in here, so I know she'll be back in a second.
Okay, got it.
Yes, I sent her some stuff and I forgot about it till last
Do you
second.
need, are we recording? I did promise that I would record this. Hang on one second.
Yes, we are recording.
It is recording?
Yes, it says stop or pause, which means we are.
Okay,
recording.
perfect. All right. You
Okay,
got the floor, girl.
welcome guys. Making it here in a snowstorm of 2022. The Texan could make it here, y'all could make it here.
That's right.
Okay, so we are going to talk today, one of the things I really enjoy doing, okay, let me give a small asterisk. I did this in one of my other offices and somebody put down a down payment on a Lamborghini. So, we're gonna like keep it real estate related here in my class, but it is effective. And so one of the things that I like doing, hi, welcome. One of the things that I like doing is talking about the MREA, the models and systems of Keller Williams, and supplementing with additional information from other coaches, real estate and non-real estate related, to have a good quality of life, enjoy doing what we're doing, and it kind of all marries together because you're not just doing business just for the money.
Right.
Otherwise, you'd be doing something else. You do it for the passion, you do it for the significance, you do it for the things that you're doing with it and what you create because of it. And so you kind of want to enjoy your life along the way also, right? Nobody really wants to sit there and be miserable on the way there. And there are times that you do things that you don't like. There are times that you do things that you do like, and it gives you energy. And we're going to talk about those things today so you can identify when you're inside of your unique ability and when you're not. And when you're doing things that scare you and when you're not. And I know you kind of know it, but how do you identify it in a second? To where you know and you're like, okay, I'm in this moment, how do I move forward from there? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with something called the 4C's. Has anybody ever heard of Dan Sullivan before? Yes, you have? Yay, okay, strategic coach. Awesome. Okay, anybody else?
It's familiar, but I don't know why.
Okay, so he has strategic coach. He's got a couple of different coaching groups that he does. He's got people that make like 150,000 and the people who make $1 million. And they have these networking groups together. He writes a book every single quarter. That's like 100 pages. It's zero fluff. It's directly to the point. He lives in Canada and he does his coaching in Chicago. And it's a 2-hour flight from his house to where he does his coaching in Chicago. And every book that he comes out with every quarter, you can read on the flight from Canada to Chicago. And I love his books, they're great. And so we're gonna talk about a couple of his topics today. So one of the things that we're gonna talk about is something called the 4C's, which we're actually gonna add a 5th C on top of it, courtesy of my mother-in-law. She came up with the 5th C and it works pretty well. So the first one is when you make, okay, there's one thing I can promise is that I'm gonna misspell something. So just bear with me. But commitment. Okay, so the first step in setting your goals is setting a commitment. And have y'all heard, I'm sure y'all have heard, is the difference between stretch goals versus realistic goals. Have you guys heard of this? Stretch goals versus realistic goals, or promise goals is another way of saying realistic goals. So promise goals is, I know for sure I will not go home. I will not stop until I hit these things. I know that if I do these activities, whether it be based on my conversion ratio, or whether it be based on my time spent, or whether it be based on my numbers of amount of money I put in there, I know for sure I will hit these numbers. Then there's a stretch goal. It's if I do that and increase my conversion, if I do that and increase my dollars, if I do that and I do it better, or I have more of a capture rate because I added a call to action to something where I didn't have that before, then my stretch goals are, I think I can get here if I work my booty off to do that. So we start with a commitment. Well, you know you're making a big commitment. We're going to talk about stretch goals because we're not talking about having a boring standard life, are we? We want to talk about having the biggest life that we want to have in our dream world. So we're gonna live in dream world for a minute, because we like to dream, and why not have the dream? I don't really intend to live a life that I'm not dreaming, and I'm not hitting that dream. So this commitment that we're talking about here is gonna be our dream commitment. And we know that it's a big commitment when we drop into this place of courage. So when you make a commitment in your life, and you're like, holy moly, what did I just commit to? And you're almost scared to tell somebody about it. You know you're on the right track when you tell somebody about it and they say, you're crazy. That's when you know you're thinking big. If somebody doesn't say you're crazy, or somebody doesn't say, wow, that's wild, then you're thinking on the level of everybody else. But we don't want to be everybody else, do we? We want to be the top 5%, top 1%. That's our intention. And so this courage piece, this is where you kind of wet your pants a little bit. So you go buy some Depends at this point. And so you've got this commitment that now you've peed your pants and you got to decide what the heck you're going to do with it. Am I going to sit in my wet pants where I'm at like, oh my gosh, this is such a big goal. And if you ever heard somebody who's a big dreamer and a big thinker and you heard their goal and you're like, wow, that's big. I wonder if they hit it. And you follow up and they're like, oh yeah, I didn't hit it. But it wasn't, they didn't hit it because they were so close. It was they didn't hit it because they didn't do the activities to hit it. It was so big and so far-fetched that they didn't figure out how to make it happen, break it down into smaller goals. Well, you can sit in this wet pants moment, or you can move over to capability. I hope they can read that. Okay, yeah, they can read that. Okay, so you move over into capability. So this is where you've made that big commitment, you've peed your pants, and then now you gotta figure out how the heck am I gonna do it? So this is where you acquire the knowledge, or the skills, or the people. Has anybody ever heard of the book Who Not How? Yes? Oftentimes when you're missing things, so there are 3 different things that apply leverage in life. Systems and tools, technology, and people. Those are the 3 things that apply leverage in life. Well, what happens when sometimes people get to this capability piece is that they can procrastinate. Anybody a master procrastinator? Yes? Okay. Yep. Okay. Well, one of Dan Sullivan's books that he teaches about is called Procrastination Theory. And it talks about procrastination. There's only 2 reasons why people procrastinate. They don't know how, or they think that, or they don't like it, or they don't know how and they perceive it's going to take too much time to figure out how. So they sit not doing it. So it's one of 2 camps. So if you're sitting in the procrastination camp and you're like, okay, I know I'm procrastinating. Why am I procrastinating? Is it because I don't want to do it and I have to incentivize myself to do it? Or is it because I don't know how to do it and I perceive it's going to take too much time to do it? Well, if I perceive it's going to take too much time to do it, who's my person who's going to cut down on my time to do it? Shoot, it could be as easy as going over into Bo's office and asking them something about command on how you do it where it takes 30 seconds. It could be as easy as that. That could be your who. If you can identify these pieces, you can put them on your goal sheet or your list of things, preferably your 411 if you have one, of what do I need to do to make these things happen? And that's how you acquire the skills. Is it that you need a coach to help you with your scripts? Is it that you need a mastermind group who is also working with similar concepts of people, or a tribe or a community or something like that of people who are going through similar things as yourself? Is it a mentor? Is it, I call them your person. You know, everybody has that person that when it's like 11 o'clock at night and you've got a real estate question and you want to call somebody, but you don't really want to call the broker because you feel bad, but you know this person is up and you totally call them. I call that person your person. So is it your person can help you with this? What is it that you need? Systems and models, tools, or tech, or people, and the people can be a who that can give you that capability. And then the last one is once you have that capability, you have moved forward, you have wet pants, but you have learned how to do it, then you now go up to the 4th one, which is now you gain confidence. And now you're like, man, that was tough getting here, but it really wasn't that bad. Do you guys ever have those moments where you like make a big goal and at the end of it, you're like, I could think that's gonna be worse than what it was. Anybody ever had that? You're laughing. I assume that you've had that. Okay, so these are the 4 C's. And then once you have gained the confidence in that, then you have two different options. You can sit and either, okay, I've done it, I'm done, I've made it. And then we call that complacency, which is where the 5th C comes in. Or you start the cycle over again. And sometimes what happens is people get the commitment, they wipe their pants, they figure out how to do it, and then they celebrate in the confidence that they did do it, and they're so busy celebrating, and then they're like, whew, I gotta take a break. And then they take a break, and then they're still relishing in it, and they're still breaking, and then they don't even know it, but they're in the complacency stage. So it doesn't mean that you can't take a break or relish in what you've accomplished or enjoy it or celebrate it. It doesn't mean that you can't look backwards. You always want to look backwards and see how far you've come and celebrate in that and recognize how far you've come and yet continue moving forwards. Because if you're not moving forward, what do we know about this market today? It's always changing, right? I mean, today from 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago is wildly different, right? Versus 2008, 2012 is also wildly different. It's always changing. And so if you're sitting in this complacency piece where you're not changing or you're not learning, you can be at a point where you're losing so slowly that you actually think you're winning. And so you have to ask yourself, what is that big commitment that I'm making right here? So I want us to do a really quick exercise. Everybody has something to write on? Yes? Okay. So I want you guys to do an exercise. I want you to take like 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute to write down what is a big commitment you've made in your past, and where do you feel like you currently are, include the 5th C. Where do you feel like you currently are today on this cycle?
Of a past one?
No, today. So think about how am I making big commitments?
Oh, past commitment.
But for today,
Yeah.
Where are you on here?
On
Do
that
you have a
commitment.
big commitment? Are you currently peeing your pants? Are you in the middle of figuring out what you need to do for the thing that you've already peed your pants for? Are you relishing in something that you've done? Or have you been relishing so long that now you're just in the complacency piece and you may not even know? So take like 1 minute to find where you're at and write it down. I just want you to be mentally prepared. I'm going to ask a couple of people to say where they're at. Just be thinking about if you're ready to
Where's the
volunteer yourself.
confused C?
Well,
No, I mean,
could be there.
like I can't think of anything. I feel brain dead right now.
If you can't think of anything, you may be here.
Okay, maybe,
Didn't even know it. Okay, can I have 2 people share where they feel like they're at? Go ahead, what's your name?
Sherry,
Sherry, can you share?
I'm at the capability stage of my lead generation and specifically when taking my CRE.
Okay, so are you at the point of looking for a model and system, a technology, or people in order to get that capability?
People.
The people. Okay, now you need to spend time after this asking yourself, who is that people or person that gets you, you've got 1 step left. You've already peed your pants, so you're done with that. Then you start to figure out what that last piece is. Awesome. Who else? 1 or 2 more. I am well known for awkwardly picking on people, so you're either going to volunteer or I'm going to awkwardly choose you.
If the commitment's not real estate wise, is that?
That's okay. I don't care.
Yeah, so mine has gone from confidence and now restarting.
Confidence and restarting.
Yeah,
So
so
you're
I
starting
never-
over in the commitment phase.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Is it a commitment that makes you pee your pants?
Oh, yeah.
Great. Perfect. Have you shared it with somebody?
He's on the ride with me.
Okay. Did you tell her she's crazy? Or at least think it for a second where you're like, oh,
No, I told her we've gone broken that Failed to forward.
There you go.
Hey, when somebody says that, you know you're doing something right. You may have gone broke in money, but you didn't go broke in knowledge. Okay? Anybody else?
Well, just my business in general, I feel like I have gone through all of those steps in the past year. And was in confidence, and then I was just so exhausted, I was just so exhausted, and then like, I got into complacency, now I'm back heavy into commitment, and I think I'm already at first.
You think you're already at the pee in your pants
On
part?
the next, yeah, well, I've already peed my pants.
Okay, so that means you're moving into capability.
Capability, yeah.
Okay, so what is it that you need in order to get that capability? Do you need technology? Do you need systems and tools? Or do you need a person?
I need all three, and I'm working on the technology now, trying to get all that set up and get all those questions, just things in my, with the technology that slowed me down. Because I've been hiring other people to do some of it, I really need to just be doing it myself,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I'm doing.
Okay, awesome. This is where a coach comes in also. I love that. Okay, anybody else have a burning desire to share? No? Cool, okay. Just figured I'd give you the option. Okay, so this is where somebody was like, I had an agent that I did this with, was like, I need to like make a really big commitment because I need to make a lot of money. So we went and put down, I think it's only like $10,000, put a down payment or like a hold payment on a Ferrari. Or it was either Ferrari or Lamborghini, it was something like that. But he calls me a couple of days later and he's like, you're not gonna believe it. I'm like, oh my gosh, your wife is gonna kill me. I did not get a call from his wife, but I mean, you do things, it doesn't have to be real estate related. I'm glad you brought up non-real estate related. This can impact your real estate. This can be how your real estate funds those big ideas. This goes towards everything, not just your business. Sorry, am I encouraging her too much? Please don't hate me. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about unique ability. So the only way to accomplish this stuff, so you're not spending the entire time procrastinating, is if there are pieces of your unique ability on there. So has anybody ever heard of unique ability or taken a unique ability like test before? This is also Dan Sullivan, so you may have heard of it. Okay, nobody, okay. So I gotta make sure I stay on track for all of this stuff. So unique ability is a thing that you do it and it makes your heart sing. You know, if you'll spend a day in real estate and at the end of the day, you feel like you are wiped. You get on the couch and you cannot get off. Honestly, you're too tired to even eat dinner. You probably fall asleep on the couch and then somehow stumble your way to bed, maybe that night, because you're just wiped from the day. But there's other days that you spend your day in real estate or doing whatever you're doing. And those days you get to the end of the day and you feel like you could run a marathon. If you've got all the energy in the world, you're bouncing off of walls, you were doing things that you love, you're just excited about what you accomplished and what you did for the day. So that means that you were operating inside of your unique ability. Who's taking KPAs in here? Okay, so we have a huge opportunity to take KPAs. I highly encourage you guys to get with Tara and Pam and Bo and to do your KPAs. And unique ability is a thing that it sets you apart, that you're not just good at it, but it's something that you do it so well that nobody can replicate it. It's the thing that because God made you to do it, your DNA tells you that this is what I am made to do. It makes me happy. I'm really darn good at it. I maybe don't have to study for it. I can just pull it out and do it at any time. I think about this. I have a brother that is like insanely smart. He took all of the book smarts in the family. And he's a fighter pilot. He never studied a day in his life. He was like straight A's. Of course, he was my older brother. So anytime I walked into a class, they're like, "You're Andy's little sister." I'm like, "Hold on, we gotta have some expectations here." But he never, ever studied, ever. And he just got 95s to 99s on everything. Whereas I would lock myself in my room for 6 hours at a time, and I would study my butt off, and then I would still get like a 65 on a test, even though I had studied like crazy. And school and class and taking tests was not my unique ability, but my brother is really darn good at it. And it's a good thing because he's a fighter pilot now and he has to study all of those things that just don't stick with me. But I'm better with people than my brother is. And so my unique ability is in front of people, talking to people, and there are things that you can get really into a niche with people on. So one of the things that I have identified as my unique ability is I'm good at having agents throw up on me of everything that they're thinking and trying to figure out and like really lost, and I'm a simplifier. So there's multipliers and simplifiers. And I can simplify things and then present it back to them in a way of like, yeah, that's what I meant. I just didn't know how to verbalize that. And so I have found that as my unique ability. And then when I looked up, I said, how do I get to, I spend my whole life doing that with agents. So we need to identify your unique ability so that you guys can say, how can I spend my whole life or 80% of my time doing that thing? Because nobody does it better than you. So unique ability, you guys all have that piece of paper? Yes, okay, perfect. Y'all all have that piece of paper. So we're gonna spend like a minute per square going through actions of what you're doing. So let's focus on the things that you are doing in this season of your life. And I wanna start with incompetent activities. These are the things that you don't like and you don't do very well. I did 2 real estate transactions before I hired a transaction coordinator because everything I touched got messed up. I just knew I stunk at it. I'm not good at paperwork and details and numbers and all of that kind of stuff. So what are the things that you guys are doing that you're not good at and you don't like doing them? Everybody has them. I still have some that I do today. Spend 1 minute writing those down.
You're not good at, but you're doing.
You're not good at and you don't like them, but you're still doing it.
They go in which box?
Bottom right, incompetent activities.
Paying attention is hard for me. I was in the wrong
Attention
box.
span.
Wrong box.
I promise you, you're gonna put things in these boxes that later you're gonna be like, oh, I forgot to add that in there. I would encourage you guys to like fold this up and keep it in your notebook for at least 1 week. And you'll add things to it. I'll tell you how to bring life to it also. Okay, let's move over to the other one, competent activities. What are things that, yeah, you could do them, but you really don't like doing them and you're kind of like iffy on you do them well or not. For me, this would be marketing materials. I can do it, I can copy off to someone else, but it's not gonna be as good. I'll get some later.
Yes, we did.
Okay, yes. Expect. Okay, let's go to excellent activities. You're really pretty good at it, but if you did a bunch of it, you still kind of feel tired. You're good at it, you can do it, but it doesn't bring you energy. Maybe this is buyers for you. Maybe this is listings for you. I met people who say, I get energy and I love buyers, but man, I don't like listings. Maybe this is the lead gen portion for you. Okay, let's go to the last one. Unique ability. These are the things that if you did them all day, every day, you would feel like you could run a marathon at the end of the day. You love it. You're great at it. You can pull it out at any moment. You're probably going to start general whenever you talk about this at first, or you write it down at first, and you'll pare it down over the next few months of exactly what it is. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is I'd like a couple of people to stand up and kind of talk through what are some of their things. And what did they learn about differentiating between what you're good at and what your unique ability is? Who'd like to go first? I will call on you. With all the love in my heart, I will. Say that question again, please. Who would like to stand up and kind of walk through what they found? Some may be obvious. You look like you're about to stand up, so you're getting called on.
Do I have to stand up?
Sure, yes,
Okay. all right.
yes.
Well, I think I'm competent in learning new systems. I don't like it. I don't want to. I fight it. And I'm competent in social media, but I'm not excellent at it.
It doesn't give you energy either,
No,
okay?
no.
What are you excellent
I
at?
may argue with myself a little bit on, I think I'm excellent at encouraging others and one-on-one with people and sharing mindset and just being helpful
Okay.
and answering questions.
Mhm. What's your unique ability?
But that's what I feel like my unique abilities
Oh,
are.
okay.
That I because I feel like I'm really good at, I'm the principal broker, and I will get phone calls from, if somebody's really mad at their agent, and I get the phone call, pick up the phone, and all of a sudden it's like, I know that I'm really good at handling those people and calming them down. Do I like it? No.
That goes in your excellent box. You are the perfect broker. Does everybody agree?
Love us some Donna.
It wears me out though.
But you're darn good at
She's
it.
good at it.
I do know I'm good at it.
And that is the job description of a broker right there. You're operating inside of your, you found a job that you operate inside of your unique
And I
ability.
do like it. I'm gonna say that.
That's awesome.
Which is why she also is our top profit share earner as well.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
What'd you make, 28, 30 last year?
Last year it went down last year.
Okay.
Altogether, I've made like, I guess at this point, it's probably 160.
Wow.
Yeah.
How's
She's a big
cool
deal.
is that?
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay, who else? You know I'll pick on you now. Even if you blink at this point, I'll pick on you.
Okay.
Go ahead. What's your name?
Becky,
Becky?
well. Incompetent. Paperwork, I hate it,
Fair enough.
I just hate it, I'm more of a, let's go. So tax season is like, just hang me. Or send body in, whichever. My unique abilities would be, I do love to help others. I love working with buyers. And then I have more of a right brain than a left brain, so I
Okay.
like to be creative. Whether it's arts and crafts or renovations, I like to make old things look great again. So,
Okay. How did you distinguish between your excellent activities and your unique ability activities?
because that's what I enjoy. Is,
What were some of your excellent ones that didn't make it on your unique ability?
buyers, follow-ups and the daily calls. I mean, I can do them, but
Doesn't bring you energy.
no.
Okay. So let me,
It's a grind.
yes.
That's a grind for me.
Okay. Honestly, cold calls was one of my excellent, like I'm really good at it, but man, I hated it. I bought this little putt strip for like $12 on Amazon that I would just putt. So, and with my headset on, so I didn't have to think about what I was actually doing
Oh, okay.
but still made myself do it. So there's ways that you can get around it, but you can't spend all day doing it or you just
Right.
want to poke your eyes out.
It's like, okay, call number 1. All right, I got 19 more to go.
Yes.
I can do this.
So your unique ability, it sounds like you said being creative
Mhm.
and helping people. How would you define helping people? Because helping people is a huge wide variety. How do we pare that down to know that it's inside your unique ability such that you can create that continually inside of your real estate business?
Well, I tell you, I really love working with buyers for the reason that they're trying to find the needle in the haystack. And I want to be the one to find the needle before they do. So that makes me happy when I find a listing before they do. And I enjoy helping others, whether it's the new agents who come on, who call me and go, hey, what about that? Or I have a couple other agents that call me and go, hey, what would you do in this situation? I like being able to help in that way as well, but mostly I love just helping buyers. It gives me energy, helping to find that needle.
I love that. I hear you like to be one step ahead of people and you like to be creative in solutions finding.
Oh, well, you can put that together. Okay, that sounds great. Can I write that down? Can I put that on a resume for somebody?
Well, that's what I just heard you say. And so now when you're looking at how do I find more solutions in my business and how do I be one step ahead of people? Because it's fun. It's fun when they're like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
And that's the part that brings you energy. So how do you create that more inside of your business? Well, you can get on command, you can set people up on safe searches, you
Oh,
can look at the
yeah.
houses that they're looking at, and then you can call them and be like, I saw this house that I think you might like. And
Well,
they're
that's true. I do. I stalk them that way.
like, yep, there you go.
That's true.
Did you know being inside of command, you just created something that's your unique ability?
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's so cool. Okay, one more. Figure out what time we're, one more. Okay, so we've had, oh, perfect. I was gonna pull someone from over there.
We don't have to make anybody uncomfortable.
Perfect. Let's do it to you.
That's actually one of my unique ability activities. I like to be uncomfortable.
Great.
Incompetent activities, paperwork, organizing, anything to do with spreadsheets. I like to read them, break them down, but I do not want to build them. Let's
Okay.
see.
You're not a content creator.
No, that's actually on my competent activities. I can make content, but it's the act of doing it just does not get me excited. I can market, do whatever. Showing houses is also on that list. Do not like showing houses. I
Great
do it,
business to
but
be in.
yeah. I'd rather sell a house than show it. Let's see, excellent activities, open houses with new construction. I can run them sun up to sundown, but I get done, I suffer from what a mentor of mine called flat daddy syndrome. I sink into the couch and I can't speak to anybody or even think when I get done with them. Let's see, following up with B's and C's is also on excellent activities. I can do it all day, but if you're not ready to go in 30 days, it's like I'm pitching you like in the other pasture. CMAs, I love to do them, but I'd rather somebody pull them and let me present them. And then unique abilities, people relationship building. So if I'm in front of that person, building that relationship one-on-one, gaining commitment. If I'm sitting in front of you, we're signing paperwork and there'll be a sign in the yard and negotiating. Find me.
You're a doer.
Yeah.
Yep. You don't like to slow down.
No.
You don't like to log it
No.
or
My
report about
follow-ups look like this, and they're slowly getting taken pictures of and sent to a VA who can then put them in for me. But
you're bringing it back.
this paperwork is, that's it stays there, and then if I don't give it to somebody else, it stays there.
So for your unique abilities, if you have models and systems, technology and people, you have to have people.
Yeah.
Your life does not work without people, because you can have all the technology in the world, but your personality is not gonna slow down enough to log what you just did.
No.
So even though people is one of the most expensive and one of the hardest forms of leverage, you have to have it.
Just look at my payroll.
Okay, did you guys like that exercise? Is that interesting? Did you learn something about yourself? It's not necessarily about what you put on the piece of paper, it's about what that means and how you implement that and who you have to have in your life and how you make it happen. And then that's how you figure out where you are on here and where you need to go on here. So we're gonna do one last piece. It is 12:47. So we've got like 8 minutes that we were supposed to do in 15 minutes. We've got like 8 minutes. I'm gonna put you guys in groups. So we're gonna do y'all 3, we're gonna do y'all 4, and then we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 here. And y'all are gonna look at the bottom page of that unique ability, and y'all are gonna talk about what you need to do in your business in order to operate more inside of your unique ability. And since we have 8 minutes and y'all have about 3 people, then we're gonna do like 2.5 minutes a person.
Are there extra papers?
Sorry.
Here.
Yes. Okay.
Scott.
2.5 minutes per person, and y'all are gonna brainstorm with that person. What is your unique ability? How do you implement that? Go.
I was literally on this and I wrote, I didn't even take minutes. That's why. So we gotta put an action plan together based on what this was. For each of us.
For the unique ability. So I think that the question is, what is
On both sides and get everything to work out.
So the improvement that I really,
So when I'm there.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yes, and like.
What I do is when I was somebody they smile.
I guess we're already so you're using exercise is like benefit. I like the benefit from that for a while.
Yeah. Like, say here, except where she speaks, there's like, she said, any questions? Okay. And then I'm like, oh. Yeah. Yeah, 30 more seconds till the next person.
I'm scared.
So do you it is making goals for like all of this. So you need to Tuesday. 55 activities I've been designing.
No, seriously. That's what you love, good job.
Yes.
You know you're good.
Well, getting the newsletter page is gonna help me with that. Teaching and coaching. Making calls. At least you're expecting. I should be more in-person than making calls, because I just hate to.
Make sure you're on to the next person.
Some days I have energy after.
Yep.
Yeah, so. Big commitment.
Who's on?
I mean, you got, fires.
I agree.
Because
Smart. Yeah. I don't, I've used one before, but I don't have experience. I couldn't do it.
The fire and the neck.
It does.
This could be.
It made it look like
Stuff that I hate doing is the marketing and. Man, that's all over me. So.
what dollar do you
On the outside. I can go
I used to work there for a while.
Perfect.
I got off of that. We're hiring here. Yeah, I haven't done it.
And then we're paying for.
Friends, and the ones that are for the buyers.
He does, yeah.
Like, most of our reviews I got back from.
They do.
How can you create more?
We're not building that now.
So yeah, when you're building one-on-one, what do you need to set up in your business that creates one-on-one opportunities for people? You have micro events, you make coffee.
Sorry.
That then you will pay and you have more business.
When it falls back to my heart, I don't know. So that in itself is amazing.
Do you usually do all that?
What's my bad on this? Just get the business. So that's my dad.
And I'm not an English now, so you're not really like.
You don't need marketing yet. So if you love one-on-one, you just send text out to 2 or 3 people and say, hey, you know, are you free on Thursday at 3 o'clock? You don't have to do Not how much they're looking for. I'm working on teach.
So like, we're like. If we dump another.
So what do they do better? So I knew about President Torrey.
What if you incorporated,
Right, and then buyer seminars and they're not.
Simply videos, I don't.
We don't have to do that. That's we did. Why you want? Set aside an hour. We weren't finding that we.
I just tell people, unless you're with, like, you can't get to the business.
This is a matter of.
Can't get there.
Seems to be the norm for other people that work.
This neighborhood election last term.
World like that.
Because I'm right now.
Even though our email is.
Yeah. Okay, let's bring it back in. We've got 3 minutes, and so this is our last 3 minutes of items. Let's bring it back in. You ready? Okay, so one of the things that I heard as a theme to talk about really quick, we're gonna talk about it in 1 minute, is has anyone ever heard of HIIT workouts?
Yes.
High intensity interval training? Yes?
17, 16, 18 minutes.
Okay, yes.
Yes.
So there is HIIT working out, there's also HIIT working as well. And when you're inside of your unique ability, it's not always easy getting there. You have to do things that are oftentimes outside of your unique ability to get there, or it's a part of the process to get there. Or because you operate in your unique ability, this other thing happens. And that's just life. You don't get to be in your unique ability at all times, every time. You just want to do as much of it as humanly possible. You want to be able to identify it. Well, HIIT working is, I think HIIT working out is like 3 minutes with your heart rate up, and then like 30 seconds with lowering your heart rate. Not slowing it down in the sense of like less than 100. You're just lowering it from it being way up. Same thing with working at HIIT working. You do an hour of an activity that you don't like, and then you reward yourself with 15 minutes of bringing your heart rate back down. And so if you are looking at something for unique ability, so I heard you always use an example, but you're talking about, I'm good with one-on-one. We may not be good setting up the one-on-ones of time blocking to schedule the people to do the one-on-ones. But what if you spent 30 minutes sending out 15 text messages to set 3 appointments this week and 3 appointments next week to go to coffee with people? Okay, you just spent 30 minutes for you to spend an hour with each person. That's 6 appointments. You spent 30 minutes of hard work to have an hour of your unique ability. Is that worth it? Yes?
Yeah.
And it gets you business. It's not just for the funsies of it. It actually does something. It makes you money. That's awesome. So there's HIIT working where you do something you may not love to have the reward for a little bit. And some people do it to where they have 5 days of working really hard to have 2 days off, of like extra days off or something like that. Or some people do it by the minute, some people do it by the hour, some people do it by, I do mine by the years of HIIT working. I did 6 years of working really hard to have, I took a year kind of off last year, and it was glorious. And now I'm back to working really hard. But you can change it. There's pieces at a time. You know, when you're like, I need a vacation. I need to get out of here. Well, problem is you come back and all the things that you were doing before are still there. So you break it down into little pieces and to HIIT working out. Okay, so that gets you back into your usability. What are some ahas today? I'd love to hear like 3 to 4 ahas of things that you learned about yourself, you just learned differently, were good reminders. Let's hear them.
So teaching moment, does anybody actually know what aha means?
Oh. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Taylor or Pam, please tell us about aha. Few of us that better know what that
agents helping agents.
Oh.
Tara just taught me that a couple weeks ago. Don't you love that? So we're helping each other. So now we share. What was the question
Now
again?
we share.
Sorry.
What are some
Uh-huh.
that
Oh,
you
yeah.
learned? It was a reminder. You heard something for the first time. You heard it 10 years ago and you forgot about it and reminded you about it today. What are some good ahas? What'd you hear? What'd you love? What'd you learn?
Trying to figure out what my unique ability, how to contribute it within real estate, because right now it's not.
Love that. Yeah. You gotta fund your life somehow. I'm starting to think this wasn't worth y'all's time if nobody answers. Good Lord, people. Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna say I have got to start doing more networking, going to meetings and maybe joining clubs that I like. Because I've talked myself out of going, but when I get there, I enjoy myself. And it's usually something that is, can't think of the word, prosperous is the word I want to say, but that's
Yeah,
not,
that's
yeah.
fine.
Beneficial.
Productive.
Yeah.
Productive, that's what
Yes.
I'm looking for.
I got you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's
So
a
now
big
you have to
one.
identify why is it that you talk yourself out of it, so you can be mentally prepared for it.
Do what?
So when you said you typically talk yourself out of going, you need to identify why do you talk yourself out of going? Is it that you don't like getting ready? Is it that you don't like driving there? Is it like you don't like the cold walking from your car into the place? What about it is it that you don't like that you can be mentally prepared for it, that you're like, okay, I signed myself up to do this. I know I'm not gonna want to do it because of this, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go head on. It makes it a little easier than when you get there and you're like, I don't want to do this. For my husband, he needs to know at this exact moment we are leaving. I'm probably gonna start asking 15 minutes before that if we're gonna start leaving. You just gotta figure out what works for you. Okay, another ha-ha. One more. Pretty please.
I think I kind of had a, in that personally myself, I think I have trouble letting things go. Like, I'm really OCD about the photos and the videos. And like, I go out on the farms and I like plan out the camera. And I go out and I go through their houses and I literally will move furniture if it needs to move this much. Because I'm thinking about which ones make the room look brighter and larger. I take the rugs up. I do all of that stuff that I think makes differences. And if I could let that go. And also I had a real problem with working with people and letting go of my database. I have my database is in 2 people's hands right now that probably one of them would need to speak to me. And that's kind of not right. So it's the same. Yeah, so that's kind of me.
Yeah.
But I think everything else is, other than the fact that I'm constantly going through that process. It's like I go through that and then I guess I'll move up and then I have to kind of go through it again. Anyway.
I will tell you this. This is a little more personal, but my mother-in-law and I have a very good relationship. I have known them since middle school. And I've been with my husband for 13 years now. And so I've known them very closely for a long time. Last week, my mother-in-law, in the most loving and gracious way possible, at the right time, told me that I am a micromanager. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And then I hang up the phone and I'm driving to Columbus. So I've got an hour in my thoughts by myself, which did not bode well for me. By the time I get to Columbus, I'm like, holy crap, I'm a micromanager. And it hit me. And she waited 13 years to tell me this. Maybe it took her that long to realize it, but I am in the point to where I am peeing my pants where I'm like, I gotta let things go. I told my husband how to do the dishes. Like I told him, don't put the wooden things inside of the dishwasher. It'll get bacteria in there. And I'm like, I gotta let that go. Okay, I'll buy new ones if I think they're disgusting, whatever. But I cannot micromanage the people around me. And so I've got 2 options, either figure out how to let it go or figure out how to find somebody that I can trust to do the things that I expect them to do, because I have really high expectations. So I've got 2 different options and I got to decide which way I'm going. And there's some things that I just got to let it go. And there's some things that I got to partner with people that I know I can trust to live up to the expectations that I have to service the people at the level that I expect them to serve to represent me. Those two options.
There's I don't know if it's from Bold, you know, that Stop It. Have you guys seen that little video where he just like screams at the girl, just stop it? You
No,
remember
I don't
that?
remember that.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm
look,
gonna
find
find
mine.
it because she comes in and she's got like some issue and she's telling him and he's like, you know, just, you gotta stop doing that.
Uh-huh.
And she just goes on and on and on. And he finally just screams, just stop it. Because that's what I need sometimes, like, because I think when you get in those patterns of doing it, it's hard to let go of because it's our thing. And we know sometimes we know we shouldn't be doing it and we're like, here I am again doing the thing that I should not be doing. Somebody needs to just like smack you and go, just stop it. It's not your thing.
Yeah, well, there's things that are worth it and things that aren't worth it.
That's right. It's costing, when you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to everything else. So when we choose those things, we're losing opportunities somewhere else that could impact our lives in a better way, right?
Yep.
That's why I like, this is all, you know, it's things that you've probably heard packaged in one way or another, you know, in any number of, you know, focus type trainings of things of this nature, but it always hits you in a different place for where you're at. I think if anything about this market, it has made us be like, I'm gonna survive, right? Like you go in survival mode, and for me personally, it's like I'll continue to make myself miserable, so I don't go have to be miserable to train somebody else how to not let me be miserable doing the things that I'm miserable doing, right? It's like the biggest need for a paradigm shift on how that works. But I think that's like, we have to sit down and look at like, what do you enjoy doing? It's like fractionally of most days, you're doing things that you like doing, and the rest of it, it needs to be in somebody else's hands, at least personally speaking. But like we're talking about letting some of that stuff go, the pain of training somebody in this type of market for stopping or slowing down, and God forbid, you know, your buyers have something that shows up that makes up 1/10 of the active population on the market that they need to see, right? Those type of things, I think, is where you have to sit down, and for me, it has to break down to like, what is it actually costing me, right? Is it costing me time with my daughter? Is it costing me time away from work? And in that sense, like, it has to hit you where you're at. So I appreciate you kind of taking a different stab at what that importance level of those unique things look like, because it's, we know it, everybody in here knows what they're good at. It's just a matter of like, how painful do you have to be to try to focus on those things and get everything else off the plate.
So true. You start with this broad concept of I love these things. These activities give me energy. Well, what about them gives me energy? What about that concept? And then you get really narrow, and then you're like, okay, how do I apply that concept to multiple other things? And you bring it back out broad again. So it's from broad to narrow to broad. And problem is we figure out the broad and we're like, oh, I really like doing that. So you do a lot of those things, but you got to figure out what about it is it, and how do you apply it to more things? And that's when you figure it out.
So it's like an
That's
hour
awesome.
class.
Yeah,
It's like an hour.
perfect. I love that. Okay, guys, we're like, oh my gosh, 9 minutes over. How in the world did that happen? I'm so sorry. Okay, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys. And we had fun today. And you guys learned something. Was this worth your time?
Yes.
Yes?
Very good, yeah.
Okay, good.
We love you. We appreciate you. We hope you like Buffalo Trace.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Thank
Yeah.
you for coming and pouring into us, pouring into me, pouring into our market center today.
Thank you.
And some little KWGL garb.
Oh, look at that. I can represent you guys now. I love it. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
You being here.
Anybody who didn't get food, now's your chance.
It will
Oh,
be
it's gone. Oh, okay.
ALC committee people, we'll just stay put and we're gonna meet in here. Everybody else get out.
Who is ALC?
What's up? Oh, and
Do we have ALC?
We have ALC
Okay, 1, 2, 3,
represent.
Clark. You're not on ALC? Come on, buddy.
Oh, Sherry, come on.
Doesn't matter. Either way. Should we go in the conference room?
Thank you, Aaron.
I'm okay with doing whatever.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thank you guys for
People
coming.
need to fly